female cop was on the brink of death. A puddle of unknown creatures was inching towards her on the floor. By the time she noticed, it was too late. The mysterious beings grabbed her tightly and dragged her into the two-dimensional world. When Lisa arrived at the scene, all that remained was the policewoman's flashlight. Nothing else was found. Suddenly, Lisa spotted an eerie picture that had appeared on the wall. Upon closer inspection, she realized it was a magnified 2D image of the cop's nervous system. The doctor then discovered that the living room mural in this house was also a 2D depiction of human skin. It seemed the inhabitants of the 2D world were hunting them down for experiments. Anyone touched by these 2D creatures would be flattened into 2 dimensions. The doctor urged Lisa to leave immediately, but it was already too late. The 2-dimensional beings had shut the door, and even the doorknob had turned 2-dimensional. They were trapped. To make matters worse, the entire room began to slowly flatten. Frightened, Lisa and her companion quickly jumped onto a hanging chair. But the relentless 2D creatures crawled onto the ceiling, ready to flatten it as well. In a moment of quick thinking, Lisa vigorously swung the chair, and they crashed through the window, successfully escaping. Meanwhile, changes were also occurring to the doctor's TARDIS. Drained of energy by the 2D beings, it gradually shrank into a 10-centimeter box. Left with no choice, Lisa had to put the TARDIS in her bag and search for a solution together with the doctor. They fled into an underground passage where Lisa's attention was drawn to the portrait murals on both walls. Tony explained that these were the people who had recently disappeared from the town, allegedly drawn onto the walls by a mysterious figure. The doctor seemed to have realized something and urgently warned Lisa that the murals were actually real people. The doctor instructed Lisa to evacuate everyone around them immediately. However, at that very moment, the 2D creatures in the murals suddenly turned their heads in unison. They had been taken over by the 2D beings. The creatures then surged towards the crowd like a flood. Lisa quickly led everyone to safety. The doctor believed the 2D beings wouldn't kill people indiscriminately and were merely curious about humans. He then initiated a dialogue with them through Lisa, but they only replied with a single number, 55. It turned out that 55 was the uniform number of one of the people in the group. Everyone looked towards him, but Nick remained motionless. Upon closer inspection, he had already been flattened. The number was merely the 2D being's attack target. Lisa continued leading the others to escape, taking shelter in an underground tunnel. However, the tunnel exit had already been transformed into a flat plane by the 2D beings. It seemed they had hit the jackpot. Just then, a pair of pitch-black hands flew in, directly dragging Rick into the 2D world. The doctor was shocked. Could the 2D beings have evolved into 3 dimensions? Sure enough, in the next second, all the 2D creatures inside the tunnel stood up,